This program is brought to you by the following non-paid sponsors: the League of Extraordinary Beings, the Society of Poor Knights of the Multiverse, Battle School, the Deployed from Detroit School of Leadership and Madness, the Society of the Pale Horse, the Curiodrome, and of course, viewers like you.
Hello. Shit. I'm here. Are you? How are we doing tonight, gang? How are you? How was your week? It's been a whole week since I saw this screen last. The world's still crazy. No need to comment on that, I suppose. So we can get right into it. Why is not the word I want to start that sentence with, but hi, I'm Jenny Durden, former Staff Sergeant, United States Air Force, a bunch of other shit. I was going to be a drag queen, but then everybody got all fucking weird, and I decided maybe I should be teaching some of the stuff I learned in the service, some of the stuff I was trained to teach in the military and elsewhere, specifically regarding leadership, because it's not necessarily a lot of the problems get fixed with leadership, but a lot of problems will not get fixed without it, and that needs to get put in there. A lot of people have misconceptions about leaders and what a leader should be, what a leader should do, and ooh. The point of this little course that I'm running at the beginning of, I don't know, I just decided to do this podcast like this. But this first part is a familiarization of our level 2 program. Yes. Which is for people just getting into leadership. So you're walking into a course where I'm going to talk to you about some very basic ideas about leadership. And sorry about that. I'll try and do that away from the mic. And not give you jargon, not give you inflationary terms, things that'll make you think you know some shit you don't. That's not going to do a thing. All of these are concepts. Sorry, I just ripped. The other part of it. So I decided before I would start this show, and I may change my mind on this, but I haven't yet, is I get kind of rip, roaring stoned beforehand, because it's fun for me. I've taught this class for like 25 years. Never done it stoned. So that's kind of fun. And for you, well, that's interesting, isn't it? Maybe. Maybe it's that spoonful of sugar that'll help the medicine go down. But I think it's also a fun tool that gives me the ability to play with my language in a way I wouldn't otherwise. It definitely fucks me up at times. I definitely forget what I was saying. I'm like, where am I? There's been a few. There was a whole episode I basically repeated the episode before it, without even having any clue. I was like, you need to know this stuff. And you do, but I don't know that those slides would be the ones I'd repeat. You'll see if you go back. Okay. So, definition of leadership per this course of instruction, how we're running it, is providing purpose, motivation, and direction. Okay? Remember that. Purpose, motivation, direction. I said I'd say it every time. So far I have. And we talked about, we've talked about quite a bit so far. We talked about the 11 principles of leadership. We've talked about beliefs, values, and norms, what makes them different, how they get used, how they get manipulated, how you can use them. We've talked about people who are good examples of values like candor and courage and commitment and competence. Ooh, that had to sound awful. I'm sorry about that. This can't sound great either. In the last few we were on, we were talking about character and changing character, and we're pretty much kind of done with that, and we're going to move on to respect. In that character piece, we were just talking about how your accumulation of beliefs, values, and norms, how you hold them, and how you present them, and how you share them with other people, that becomes your character. Because when someone calls your name to the stage, they expect certain behaviors to happen. It's sort of why that's the word we use for that. Because it's not different at all from a character in a story or a character in a play. Because this is your character in this grand story. In history. Ooh. This is that. So let me pop over and we'll get to the slidey parts. Slippies. Okay, changing character we talked about. RESPECT. You have to respect your troops. Now, for some people this seems like absurd. And those people, I don't understand how they ever make it where they are. But yes, these people are here, weirdly enough, doing your bidding. I don't know where people get this idea that they're special, important, useful, needed, whatever, where they're like, these people should be grateful that I gave them the opportunity. Fuck your opportunity and fuck you. Sorry, Floyd. There's plenty more opportunities that don't have that horseshit attached to it. And what kind of specimen are you versus what kind of it's nonsensical. There's such opportunity for me to get angry when you see that idea that you could be. Really? You're the one? Of all of them. I've seen better than you stuck to the bottom of tire treads. Like, way better than you. Not you per se, but I love you. You're wonderful. Hi. But the angry person I'm envisioning in my mind. Motherfucker. Yeah, no, I've seen way better and way worse. And you're going to encounter that too. I think we're all going to encounter that. That's a human thing. Because there's always some shithead who's like, I don't know if you heard, but I'm kind of awesome. Right. Okay. Cool. To the point though, respect for your troops. You do need to respect your troops, and if you know your troops, you will. If you get down there and figure your people out, I think I'm a big person who likes to get definitions out, because so many times we'll use a word and we'll say a thing and it gets repeated ad nauseum. But do you know what that means? Does it make you think you're going to puke? Ad nauseum? ADNAUSE. I think it's spelled a bit like nausea. Maybe it means you're going to puke, but I don't fucking know. I just know ad nauseum means a bunch. It makes you sound a little bit smarter than you might be. Ooh. I forgot what I was talking about. That's that weed talking. Yeah. Knowledge. And love. So this is where I get in trouble with more firebrand thinkers, But typically these firebrand thinkers aren't people who come from experience. There are a lot of theoretical types, backbenchers, Monday morning quarterbacks, whereas people who did the thing, typically, if they don't agree, that they'll say that I'm, barking up the right tree. There's a lot of room to disagree, but my statement is this: knowledge comes from. No. Okay. No. I'm baked and I want to get this right. Love is the purest expression of knowledge. Because the more you know a thing, the more you will love it. The more you will understand its nuance and its beauty and its quirks. And sure, in a lot of cases, you'll be introduced to it by a negative trait. Something, especially in a military situation, they're like, these motherfuckers are trying to kill you. That's pretty goddamn negative. But I don't know anyone who's been overseas who doesn't come back with a new thing. Where they're like, dude, yes, this was crazy. However, have you tried falafel? Like, okay. Hey, it's not world peace, but I forgot what I was talking about there too. Respect. Knowledge. Yes. When you know your people, you'll begin to love them because they will be your family. They will, not mom and dad, not brother, sister, but this other thing that you can rely on. If it's that kind of team. If it's the kind of team where you're going to be there all the time. And like we said before, definition of creepy is pushing it, forcing an otherwise natural encounter or a natural emotion or natural expression and just kind of going over the top with it. That's creepy as fuck. Always. So don't push it. Foster an environment where things can happen, and they typically do. If you build it, they tend to come. Think. Okay. Now to the truth of the point. The thing I actually wrote down here. I can stop blathering. So you're gonna learn about your people, and that's really gonna help you cultivate your respect for them. Your team members, everybody's there for different reasons. Everybody, in the military, a lot of people join for a wild number of reasons. I came from a line of folks where most people in my family were in the military or in some function related to it, or cops or something. Like, that's a very Appalachian Irish American scenario, is that you send all the boys off because nobody's inheriting land, but we can inherit swords and stories and shit like that. And yeah, it's fairly traditional kind of shit. So for me, it was natural. Of course I was going to enlist. What the fuck else would I do? Whereas other people would never consider that. And there are people who... I was blown away by the hippies in boot camp. And the burnouts. And just the whole gamut of people who... I didn't see there with me when I was a kid. And I don't know what made that difference of... I don't know. But I know there were stories of people wanting to go to college and see the world. And there were a bunch of people like me who were like, this is tradition, this is what we do, it's the right thing. We were balls deep in 2 wars, so that was going on. So a lot of people join whatever you're up to for a lot of different reasons. It could be the benefits, it could be the environment, it could be the status, it could be... Well, there's 5 reasons, really. We'll get to that when we get to a point. But then your people are also going to stay for very different reasons. And a lot of times they may not stay for the reason that they joined. I joined the Air Force to cook, and I stayed in the Air Force a lot to do mortuary stuff, and honor guard, and readiness. And I still cooked. I still love cooking. It rules. But I had energy to burn, and that was a place I could burn energy. That was a place I could go specialize and be of additional use. So I did all that stuff. And I think the Air Force could have talked me into staying had they been like, you want to just do this civilian side? I'd be like, okay. I'd probably still be there. If that was an option. But they had plenty of people. They don't fucking need me. Each of your people is also going to have a unique kind of worldview. Everyone is positioned uniquely, even geographically. None of you can occupy the same space, otherwise you would have just exploded. And most people have at least one skill they can leverage. Some people will come to you and be like, there's nothing I'm good at, and I'm not good at anything. And like, oh, well, you're pretty good at kicking yourself in the ass, aren't you? There's one thing. And with a little bit of digging, you can find what they're actually good at. And a lot of times, it may not be in a demonstrable skill. It may not be, okay, you can't sing or dance, tough shit. But they have passionable knowledge about things. They're really interested in something. Those are your nerds and your geeks and your lovelies who will tell you all about, so in episode 4, yes, this person I need. Tame that horse. But man, you can take them far. Those people have passion in their heart. Fuck me. There are a lot of people that don't and will never accomplish anything in their life because they lack passion. And then these critters have passion, and it's just towards something wacky, which, okay, is wacky in your opinion. To them, it's the most important thing on earth, but man, if you can get some of that passion and tip that towards your goals, hell yeah, you guys can get some real shit done. Respect your people. Their weird interests are your new skill sets. You're people that play games you never heard of, who have weird hobbies, who have weird jobs on the outside, who all the shit that ain't normal. That's good. That's an asset, especially when you're team building. That's how you get the A team. That's how you get all those kind of teams. Dirty Dozen Dirty Dozen, they all get fucked. But you want people with different skill sets, with skill sets that complement one another, with skill sets that contrast. So some folk, it's the reason you have an offense and a defense on a football team. Some people gotta do different shit. It's nature of the beast. Sorry. Gain the respect of your troops. This is done a whole mess of ways. We talked about leading by example. We talked about being honest, having candor, competence, integrity. Respected leaders influence via teaching, coaching, counseling, training, and disciplining and setting a good example. Now, the disciplining part isn't you get over here, motherfucker, and drop and give me what... That shit is seldom done to adults. We do that at boot camp because it's hilarious. And because that's a very interesting case study that I might get into at one point. But it's very... Those environments it works for, specific training environments where the goal is to become a new thing, you can kind of get away with that. Especially if the goal is to dramatically improve one's physical fitness, it does make sense to have them exercise more. And so it's not, you can fuck it up and be like, alright, do 100. Now we're in trouble. But you can do 15, 20 and fucking see what that does in boot camp. You do that like big boy. I don't think I'm going to eat there again. Well, we'll see about that buffet. Difference between methods, question mark. I don't know what I meant there. Respected leaders create a leadership environment that causes development of right values and character. Yeah. So, you can't just say this is how it's going to be. that makes you look stupid. Because that's not how stuff ends up being how it is. You can't just be like, that wall is going to be blue. I mean, I do kind of have a blue light on it as I'm looking at it. Bad example. But it's not really blue. It just has a blue light on it. That's not how you make it blue. I had to turn the thing on. Shit gets involved. You can't just say it. You gotta demonstrate, lead, show. If that wasn't on and I was just sitting here, it would definitely not be blue. Just for me hollering at it. I'd have to say something like, I won't do it to you. I hate when people do that. Or they're like, then they make it do something crazy. Play all of the Beach Boys. No. No. Only some of them. God only knows. Okay. Environment. Yeah. You want to cultivate the environment. It's one way I've put this in the past is if you imagine somebody studying for a test and they're studying for an A and they're like, you know what? I've got to get an A. And then you have someone else who studies for a test. And this was more how I would study. I would study, I need to know this material. That was my goal. I need to know this material. And I'd get an A. Never once was like, oh, I better get an A. Most of the time I got A's. Because my goal was to know this shit. And if that's a well-rounded goal, and it coincidentally lines up with getting A's and stuff, and I think that's why people mistook it, because like, oh, I gotta get an A, I gotta get a good grade. The good grade represents a good job. Do a good job, you get the good grade. So in leadership, you can't say we're number one. You gotta be number one. You really never say we're number one. It makes you look like an asshole on tape later. But, yeah, no, be about it, baby. Don't just say it. And the more you just say it without putting the effort in to be about it, the more hollow you look. You look like someone who may just come out of their office door every few months with some bizarre statement and then just disappear back in. And then the rest of the staff's like, what the fuck was it? Do we really have to wear the Burger King crowns? I'm not doing that. No, he won't. We didn't have to do that last fucking horse shit. Okay, good. Because I'm not wearing that crown. It's going to fuck up my hair. Relax. We're not doing the crowns. No. If you come out, I'm the kind of leader who, if I say we're wearing those fucking hats tomorrow, people will be upset and know that that is true. God damn it. That bitch is going to have a stack of those fucking things. I'm like, I got him. I told you I would. And they're like, yeah, of course you did. That's not how I roll. I'm not making people wear hats, but I'm an individual of my word. As long as I remember. Sometimes that's an issue. RESPE. Oh, yeah, we did this one. Here we go. See? Confidence. Confidence. You must give your troops the confidence that they can develop their own character. Don't give them some horse shit like they need you. Ugh, that's infuriating. Because what if you want to do something else? They need you. Boo. You're the only one who understands them, and you're the only one who can help them. But you want to go do some other shit now. Or you move on to a new role, or you want to give these people a new position elsewhere. They need to know that they can for sure develop these skills on their own. That you're here as a mentor, not the mentor. You're not the only individual, you're an individual. You're a function. You're a functionary. There are so many opportunities for people to find good guidance if they know to look. So, confidence. They need to know that they can do it themselves. They need to know how to do it. Their belief that you sincerely care about them and want them to develop better character goes a long way. Sincerity is absolutely critical in your leadership. If you're one of those people who really has difficulty sort of genuinely connecting, well, still know that it is your role to ensure that the morale, welfare, and recreation of these people is taken care of, and you can articulate it that way. Straight up, like, hey, I care about you guys having fun because I'm required to. And still means I care about you having fun, so you're gonna fucking have it. Okay, weird, but yeah. If you struggle with something, let people know to expect that. But also, sorry, Floyd, you not being a people person is no excuse for your people to suffer. Now, if you're not a people person, leadership's not your... you should go. Because leadership is only about people. I know. It sucks. Because people are so mean sometimes. And stupid and silly and sexy and smart and fun. And violent. Viscous? The more they respect you, believe... oh, yeah. This little sub-note there. Learn about your people, what makes them tick. Their inner life, their outside. Like, figure out who they are outside of your relationship as an employer, as an employee, as a teammate, as a... whatever it is you do professionally or as a leader in their life. Get a scope of what they do on the outside. Don't be surprised if some shit pops off in their life. If you find out Nana dies... you know, you shouldn't be the first to find out, but, like, don't be the last, per se. Like, you should be in the loop with your people to some degree, because they come to you and, for a time, put their life in your hands. And so you should have some kind of an interest in their lives, in that, you know, and that those lives are being lived well and peaceably and as they should. The more they respect you, the more they believe you and care for you, the harder they will work for you. This is genuine truth. Even if it's just to impress you or gain your attention or approval at like the low scale, you'll get that. But on the genuine level, it's about these connections. And if your mission is good, and if they know it's good, they'll go with you. If they know you're the one to go with. You know, that's a lot of understanding built up between people. But that's where our training comes from, and going out in the field and practicing and all those things, so you can build up that confidence with one another and get that respect going as a team. But the more you find out about them, the more you're going to love them. And the more that love will cause you to become more effective. This is, again, starting to know the material, not to get an A. Your love for them will make you a more effective team and a more effective leader. But don't be creepy and try to force some shit, because that ain't gonna make it work. You can't fake it either. You can't pretend that this shit's there to get the better result. It has to be genuine. And the genuine side effect is the productivity, is the connectivity, is this genuine shared bond. I have people, one person on this team who I've had a very intense argument with because they called me a liberal and an AI. And both of those pissed me off in a weird way. I think the liberal one pissed me off more because I was like, mostly because they said I was always liberal. And I was like, that's definitely not true. I may be, look how I'm dressed, probably am now, but as a kid, fuck no. I was all, hey, hi, all. I was being courted by all the whitest of supremacists. It was unfortunate, and I'm glad I realized they were fucking idiots, but no, I wasn't always anything. However, I still think about that person. And other members of the team and I still talk, and some of us don't, and some of us do. But the five of us would walk through the mall in step, because we were on a color guard together. Not like a band color guard with flags, but... Well, actually, this had flags, but this was the military kind, where you just do it like this. Well, you march. I'm trying to move my chair. You do some marching, you do some wheels. There's rifles. All that shit. So we'd be at the mall just walking shoulder to shoulder in step, not even realizing it. And be there at each other's weddings and all kinds of parties and those one-off nights when just enough of us are in town that we can all get together. And that was us as like 15, 16-year-olds, maybe 14, 15. I think even today, with the disagreements many of us have had, you'd still be hard-pressed to find something we wouldn't do for one another. Genuinely. Even Mr. Robot Liberal there. If he's hurting, I'll come. Of course. Those are my people. I think some people look out and they have a family they're born into that is a lot like on TV, and they're like, this is great, my family, we're the best, we get along, we're the Carlsons, and we have a great time. And then I think there's the rest of us who, I think most of us have a lot of people trying really well with bad advice, and that gets you chaos. And sometimes it's good and sometimes it's bad. And I don't know. I forgot again. I'm going to skip because whatever that thought was got real dark. I'm sorry. And it definitely doesn't relate to the slide of confidence. Love your people. Don't fake it. Don't push it. Don't demand love from them. Ugh. Gross. But you'll see it. You'll see it. You'll smirk one day. You'll grow to hate things they do and still miss not seeing it. You know, they will become part of your environment, become part of your memory of what is the world like around me. Well, the world around me is this with them. They're part of the noise and the sounds and the smells, and these people are part of every day, and they're part of my story. There's a lot to love there. Okay. Professional myth. Ooh. There we go. I got a little spell checky in the mouth. Professional military ethic. Application of military ethic to civil operations. So how do military stuff in civilian world without it kind of going bad for you? Because you can't do all the same shit the service does. We have contracts and intense budgets that will just freak a person out. Oh, my tiny dog. Hang on, you want to see? We'll go to the gun cam. Who's these dirty ladies, the tiny ladies? Who's the dirty ladies? Look at her. She just jumped up here. Sorry, lady, you're on the show. You didn't sign up clearance or nothing. But you're on the YouTubes forever and ever now, Mrs. Lady. This is a princess. She's tiny. Hi, Mama. She is so fluffy and fuzzy and tiny. Whoop. 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 Okay. We'll see if she starts fighting me through this. They get so mad when I'm like playing games, or after a while they're like, you should be paying attention to us. I get it. Okay, so how to military without fucking yourself? You don't need to do a lot of the things the military does because you're not out there doing the same things. And you don't have access to a lot of the same resources they do. Yep. So loyalty. Loyalty. This is a subject that will get veterans hot under the collar, especially in a civilian agency. Because if I'm working at, Buffalo Bob's Oil and Filter, and they're like, we need to see some loyalty. No. No, I'm going to be hard pressed. Now, if Bob's Lupo and Filter there took care of me, and then yeah, maybe, yeah, if they went out of their way. But if this is like I've been there a month and a half, and they're like, hey man, we just do minimum wage around here, and all this. No, you don't need loyalty off the bat. You don't owe anybody loyalty for a paycheck. That's why that shit's hourly. Now, if you're salary, that's what that's for. Salary is specifically them buying your loyalty, buying your time. That's why the military utilizes salary. You get 24 hours out of an individual rather than the hourly rate. And I don't know when I'll cover pay. Because pay is not necessarily pertinent to this course. But man, oh man, pay your goddamn people. Have fewer staff. Whatever you got to do to ensure your people are paid and compensated for their work, do it. Or get out of business. Sorry, Floyd. There's too many people who think they can run a business without paying their people. And negative. No. But I need to have these people. Then pay them. I can't afford it. Then you don't need them. The two would match. Your spending is fucked, is what you're telling me. You're shitty at money. Pay your fucking people. Loyalty. That was my rant on loyalty. That's right. That's what we're talking about. So in a lot of organizations, especially I came out of the military and military-like organizations, and they push loyalty to the nation, loyalty to a cause, loyalty to the state, if you're in the United States, or, I guess a nation is a form of state in other places. Anyone who's got an organized polity representing a specific body of people. Organizations in general. People have loyalty to things outside themselves. People may have loyalty to themselves, but I don't think that word really fits for that. You can have people who fail to be loyal to others, but loyalty to just oneself is self-preservation. Like, that's, I don't know. We'll play with that one when I smoke less weed. But you see oaths, creeds, credos in a lot of places. If they want to enforce loyalty, they'll have things people can repeat, like, I am the law. What was that, from Judge Dredd or some shit? Ethical application is not to brainwash. If you're doing this right for the right reasons, you're not putting these creeds and credos and oaths out there and the idea that anyone should be loyal to someone else just for the hell of it. It's there because that loyalty is going to be paid back in some way. That loyalty is going to be respected and reciprocal. And that these the organization they're being loyal to is worth being loyal to. That although they're going to ask difficult things of them, ultimately their missions that they're going to be tasked on are going to be worth doing and enduring whatever difficulties come. And so another way to think, too, is that loyalty is to submit to another person, to commit to their interests. So when I'm loyal to my friends, I submit to them in a way. Not necessarily that I am below them, but that I am theirs. You got me. Now what? Whoop. And then commit to their interests. So, not only do they have me for whatever they need. That's loyalty. Or, I shouldn't say it like that. That's a bit. That can be taken all kinds of gross ways. But the submission to another isn't necessarily also like negative submission, as in like the dom sub gross shit people are up to. I'm sorry, I judge too much when it comes to certain kinks. But I've been in too many like actual fights with people after shit like that, where I think they just misread me, and they're like, "I thought you were a dom or something." I'm like, "No, I'm just loud. Leave me alone." Some people, to be able to submit to another. The submission part is that idea of placing self and placing it next to someone else, below someone else, kind of slightly, but you're there presented. You present yourself, ideally. And then you are not only committed to this individual, but you're committed to their interests through them. So because you're committed to them, you're committed to them fulfilling their interests. And this doesn't mean loyalty to my friends mean I follow the same football teams as them. But it means loyalty to my friends means I may know what some teams they follow. And I may be like, "Oh man, I saw that game your guys did the other night. That was cool." Shit like that. That's loyalty to my friends. Some people with an injured sense of submissiveness, this one, here we go, can become loyal to things that don't earn it, where commitment is unbalanced. Okay, let me one more again with that. Some people with an injured sense of submissiveness can become loyal to things that don't earn it, where commitment is unbalanced. This means some people, now what I mean by injured sense of submissiveness is maybe they submit to too many people. They just, everybody, or whatever you say, I'll just go kick rocks. That dog is going crazy. Princess, what are you doing? Was that your sister? Oh. I bet that dog's about to crap on something. Well, I'll get to it when I get to it, I suppose. The injured sense of submissiveness. They could have been abused or whatever, sheltered, just naive. All kinds of reasons can lead an individual to have what we might call an injured sense of submissiveness, where you're going to see them submitting to people whom they shouldn't. And what I mean then by become loyal to things that don't earn it, where commitment is unbalanced. And so I said before too that loyalty should be reciprocal. It should be a back and forth. If you're loyal to your people, they'll be loyal to you, back and forth. If you're not loyal to your people, they have no reason to be loyal to you. Again, for the reciprocality. Ooh, is reciprocality a word? So, somebody who's been through an abusive situation, you may find them submitting to people they shouldn't because they've been bullied and they're used to being bullied, and they're like, fucking bullies are in charge, right? And that's just what they're used to. And you may have to train that out of people. That's what I meant by that in all reality. That may be you too. You may have to check yourself. You may, if you're getting stomped on at lines in the grocery store, this might be you, because that shouldn't be fucking happening. You're fine. It's the groceries. You're okay, baby. But I've heard silly stories of people getting hollered at by some shithead somewhere. And like, you don't have to take that. You can tell them to shut the fuck up. They may not, but it is also your right to have some loyalty to yourself there, baby. So often loyalty to a group is tied to a hope that placing the group's needs first will fulfill those individuals' needs. So that was sort of the trick with the military, how they got all the hippies and all those other folks. People pay for your college. We'll fulfill your life's destiny. That was us Highlanders. Dee-lee-dee. We'll give you a place to live. For poor people, we'll give you money. For everyone. Like loyalty, and not just that though, the military gives you this idea that you're going to become something bigger, Not only are you going to serve something bigger, but in that process, you'll become something bigger. And in a lot of cases, you kind of do. And uniquely so, in a way that you might not elsewhere. Sure enough, there's a cost, and that cost gets told to you, ish. But it's one of those things that, like, you can say it all you want. It's not going to make any sense till you see it. So we kind of get away with being like, yeah, we told you. You did mention that. Yeah. Language will get you in most cases. But if you're genuinely looking out for your people's well-being, and you have some kind of a track where on the way to your goal you can accomplish goals for them, they're going to stay loyal as all hell. And loyalty is the most important poison you need to learn how to work with. Because loyalty is poison. Too much will kill you. It'll kill whatever your focus is. Too little might as well not be in there at all. It does nothing. And so you need to balance how it gets put in there, because you can abuse loyalty very easily. Where, you could have people who look up to you and they're loyal to you, and I'm trying to think of I don't want to get overly dramatic with it, because I think it can happen at such a simple scale that some people might be surprised, where, my people trust me. I'm going to come in a couple minutes late today. Why? Sure. Because why not? Because you get to sleep in and fuck it, who cares? Plus, Tony will be there, he'll get the door, it's not going to be a problem. I just need a couple extra minutes in the driveway to smoke a cigarette or something. They trust me. Yeah, they trust you to be there, asshole. Not to smoke cigarettes in your fucking driveway. Now, you can cultivate a relationship with your team where both of those things happen too. That's how my team works. That's how a lot of my guys with disabled veterans and that goes. Where every now and again somebody just drops off the res and you're like, whoa, where'd they go? And we're like, they'll tell us. A lot of times disabled veterans are like barn cats. They'll just disappear for a minute and you're like, well, I hope they come back. And as long as they don't die in the woods, they'll come back. They always do. But they're on adventures. And they need to go do those adventures right now. And they don't need your good advice right now. That's also, veterans, that's why your friends aren't calling you. Because they know it's going to be a counseling session that will work. And they're trying to continue on a shit path for a minute. I know, babies. It's hard. We'll get through it. But, man, oh man. It can... Intoxicating is a word I used, I think, last time. That's sort of a very poetic word that gets used for evil a lot. Intoxicating sort of describes drunkenness, separation from self, a lack of inhibition, doing things you might not otherwise do. What are we talking about? Holy shit. I think this stuff was called strawberry cough. It's not necessarily why I was coughing at the beginning of the episode. But it's why my brain is doing this like... Dave's not here, man. Is anyone old enough to know that one? I'm not even that old. The problem with being latchkeyed in the 80s is all my cultural references are from the 70s, so nobody knew what the fuck I was talking about. Duty. Yeah, don't fake it. Don't be weird. Duty. I said duty twice. Legal or moral obligation to do what should be done without being told to do it. Integrity often gets defined similarly as doing the right thing when nobody's looking. But I think duty and integrity are separate things altogether. I think duty is also something that can be taken on externally. Someone can assign you a duty. Someone can give you a duty. But I think you can also take on a duty. And by that, saying a legal or moral obligation to do what should be done without being told. So you may say, I have a duty to protect the meek, because the way I interpret scripture, I get a little Sermon on the Mounty, and I think I probably should look out for those who aren't as tough as me. And that is my self-assigned duty. Now, how I do that, I have to be aware of other people's duties and the laws, beliefs, values, norms. I can't be out there bopping people in the face. That's a crime. It's called assault and battery, or so I found out. Y'all can't have no fun out here. But it is your path. It is your quest. It is your perma-quest. It's what you're always trying to get done. That duty. And you can instill a sense of duty in your people if you have that loyalty, if you have cultivated an atmosphere where there is a reason to want to be here and a reason to want to be a part of this team. And if a function of that is this team's duties, of these are what we are obligated to do. When people call our name, this is what they expect. Marines are very big on their duty. And a Marine knows their duty very well. A Marine's duty is to execute their missions anywhere in the world, whenever the fuck they're told to. That's why these poor babies on their way to Iran are going to get chopped up. Because that's their duty. And that's really sad. And that is an abuse of duty. And that is an abuse of loyalty. These are good warriors, and we're going to waste them. Flush them down the shitter. In an abuse of our own duty as citizens of this nation. All military decisions are meant to be made by the civilian population in the United States of America. That's why the Department of Defense is headed by a secretary and not a general. Like, there's whole procedures here. So Congress has to declare it. But there's chaos right now. We're just letting fucking morons do whatever they want right now to just see, I guess, for the lulz, as they used to say back in the day. Okay, let me get off that. Duty. It does require a willingness to accept full responsibility for your actions and for your troops' performance. So if you take on a duty, and if you're trying to instill a sense of duty, you need to be willing to take that on as your responsibility. Your head is the one that comes off if this fucks up. And at a team leader level, you should be thinking that way already. Where, if anyone's going to lose their head over this, it's just me. And that may not be a guarantee, but you should be working to set things up that way. You should be screening for your people. They're new. They're juniors. They need guidance. They need time to mature. We're here to run pass interference. We're screeners. We're here to hold down the fort till the young ones get big enough, brave enough, and smart enough to do our job for us. That is your duty, to get the next one ready for theirs. And it requires you to be willing to say, okay, we fucked that up. And as a result, I have to do these things. And, you know, it's usually we have to do some training and we'll get some classes going. But, like, let's say, for example, let's make it an easy example-ish. You're a small team supervisor for a lemonade stand. And you have 1 to 3 people. And over the weekend, they'll come by and do a shift and help you sell lemonade. And your goal is that as a team, you guys have to sell X number of lemonade. And by the end of the weekend, and you just didn't do it because you fucked up the hours. And, you know, you only had 2 people on for one day and then 1 person on for another day. And then they weren't even there for half the day. And then you left early because you said something about smoking in your car. And you're, gang, that was me. I fucked that one more than anything else. Yes, we didn't hit our mark. Yes, we didn't make our goals, but that's because my guidance was not in the right place to get us there. My plan to fix that is as follows. Blah, 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 blah. You know, but take it. If you fuck up, say, oops. Because again, too, your people, they may not be smarter than you, but you are not smarter than a room full of people. In some cases, you are, and it's weird. You'll be like, really? But that's few and far between. Even me, I've been like, are you sure? It was Army meeting. I'm sorry, I love them. Leaders need to take initiative and anticipate requirements based on the situation. This is, again, going to duty. So look for opportunities to fulfill these duties and look for the requirements that are going to come up as a result. You know, if you're the lemonade sale person in that last example and you biffed this one because you jacked up the scheduling, well, take some initiative to figure out, okay, how many tickets do I need to sell? How many or lemonades do I need to sell to make the target? What's the manpower requirement to get that target out, etc., and so forth. You know, you'll realize, like, oh, I probably should have done a little bit more work there. It's not just squeezing lemons, apparently. And it's the individual responsibility to do their duty to the best of their ability at each individual level. And you want that understood by them and impressed upon them. But again, only a certain segment of the duty, because like if it is the duty of the organization and you're the head of the organization, ultimately it's your duty. And if they're subordinate to it, they do have a level of duty to it, but subordinate to it. Smaller piece of the pie. And in some cases, I'm sure you've been in situations where you feel like your small piece of pie is way heavier, or whatever the acronym is, to show that you're getting fucked in this situation. That's a thing that can happen. Where although it's the individual responsibility to fulfill their duty, it's, you know, if you want someone to know a thing, teach them. If you want them to have a thing, get it to them. Figure it out. But don't just say, well, you're on your own. Because that's a great way to accomplish fucking nothing. Or have to have remedial training all the time. Because you failed to have initial training, and now we're just persistently fixing fuck-ups all the time. Okay. Dead horse, black eye. Moving on. Selfless service. This is another big military one that doesn't necessarily need to happen in the civilian world. And hilariously, you'll see it. You'll see... I remember being a Panera Bread and having the idea of selfless service being pushed on me. Not often. Not by good leaders. By one shitty leader there who's like, you really should. And I was like, bitch, I was in the National Guard at the time. So I was like, I don't think you understand who my... Anyway, I'm not... That before I black out at a Panera Bread flashback. So in the military, this can include dangerous situations that might even lead to one's death. Ooh. In law enforcement, sometimes I know there's on TV and movies, there's a lot of like, oh, they can see fucked up shit pretty frequently because they're reporting to car accidents and suicides, and they're like, oh shit. But as far as like life in danger, not as often as like Amazon drivers get fucked with more, pizza delivery drivers. Yeah, there's a lot more places where your death is a likely result. But that doesn't mean it's not selfless service. It doesn't mean you're not giving of yourself. Because my dad was a cop for 40 years, never got shot at. But he was there, belted up at 05 every morning and out the door. And then he was back at like 4:30. It was clockwork. But he was gone 12 hours a day. And he was there. Whatever they needed out of him, he would do. And then he'd do extra. He'd do, you know, they're like, we have an extra security detail. Because they do like overtime pay sometimes. And they'd be like, you want to go do security at Pine Knob or over the Silver Dome or shit like that? Yeah. But he was always there. And a lot of cops are there. They give of themselves. In their service, they don't mind that they'll get hurt or as part of it. They knew that going in, so it's not even... They're going to consider safety so that they can function, but besides that, you got it covered then. They're not going to worry about burning themselves up in the cause. Another area where leaders really do need to be particularly careful. It's where these culty kind of people get out of control. Especially when they can promise things after the conclusion of a selfless service. If they're like, well, they gave the ultimate sacrifice, and now they're up in whatever our version of heaven is, with all our cool stuff that we said they'd get. That's a great way to convince people to blow themselves up. If you tell them it's going to be way cooler afterwards, if it sucks now, and you're like, listen, all you got to do, wear this crazy outfit, do a little pop and lock on this buzzer and fucking let her rip. And then, virgins. That's not a hard sale. It's a very hard sale. Don't do it. Also, don't do it. Come the fuck on. I love you. Don't blow yourself up. And don't blow up other people. Disclaimer. What are we doing? We were once a species, once a society, once a people. No. We've always been this. If you go back in history, and the trick to reading history is understanding like vernacular speech in the era, like figure out what cuss words were and how people might shit talk or whatever. Because people are way funnier than you'd think in ancient text. And then you'll get to, you know, ancient Greece, ancient Rome. You'll get to ancient China, ancient India, ancient Africa, ancient everywhere. And there's just someone like, these fucking idiots. And you're like, okay, it's not just us. I feel better. And then, like, you go, you're like, Plutarch, Jesus, chill, buddy. He wasn't that bad. But yeah, this is another thing that can be abused in people, and I've seen it abused a lot in church situations because the self is not even kind of valued. And so if you are an anti-self kind of organization, selfless service is fucking terrific. And if your goal is to eventually extinguish the self, well, even better. That's a way to speed it up. So spooky, creepy shit can happen with this being pushed on people. So in civilian settings, we're not expecting people to put their life on the line in most instances. First responders, like we said, police, fire, EMS, customer service people now are, because we got rid of our fucking mental health institutions, just everybody, you know, from the gal at Five Below to, you know, the person at the bank, everybody now is in charge of being first line response for mental health, which is not great. And as a crazy person, not my ideal situation. Because it usually means, like, somebody freaks out because they hear you, like, talking to yourself under your breath, and then they call the cops, and then you get shot at the bank. And, like, that's not usually the case, but, like, that's for sure the fear, because it's been told to me by, like, people that would happen. Like, I've been told by a cop, like, they're like, that's what I would do. And I'm like, well, that's not, one, how you do it, and two, don't tell me that. I hope they were lying. Please be that you were lying and I'm just gullible. Wouldn't that be fun? But we are expected to be there when called upon. If you say I'm going to be there, be there. That's your version of selfless service. That's the most people can really expect out of you out there. We don't need you hurting yourself. We don't need you getting other people hurt. There are some roles where, you know, we all got to make that decision of whether or not it's acceptable. But I'm guessing if you're just now taking these courses, you're not there yet to be making those calls. And that's not me trying to be shitty. That's me saying, like, definitely not on your own. Like, I do this as a committee thing. There's nobody goes in harm's way on a whim. That's, well, not in my organization. So selfish service also implies an unselfish form of service. I think that's the cleaner sense of what I was saying there too. You do take care of yourself, but you make others your key focus. Your job is to be there for these people. You understand that your job as a leader is to provide leadership. That is your selfless side. You're there, selfish leadership would be, I'm here to lead, so I look awesome in this uniform. Horseshit. Selfless leaders know they're there because someone needs to be led. And then again, sacrifice, another submission, is a sacrifice, or sacrifice is a submission to understanding that you are not a true individual. Ooh, spooky philosophy talk. One, you're not. You're part of a colonial organism like mushrooms. I've seen it. It's what they mean by dragons. It's what they mean by God. You can see a flow. This other creature that just stands when you get so many people together. And we're running around thinking we're all clever little individuals making our own decisions. And then you see this cloud. Just cacophonous. Talking to itself. Moving like ants over a hill. You're like, what the fuck was that? And you're like, oh, that was humanity. That's what it looks like when you zoom out. You zoom in at our level, we look like this. Hi, I'm a human. I'm part of human stuff. But selfless service is understanding that, like, to be a human is to be part of humanity. To know that your continuance is not the same as the continuance of humanity. Your being here tomorrow is not necessary for us to be here tomorrow. My being here tomorrow is not necessary for you to be here tomorrow. And yet I will still serve you. Because you need it, baby. You need help. That's what I'm here for. That's what you're here for. That's what we're all here for. We're the rescue party. Nobody else is coming. That's right. The Avengers was a movie. Yeah. No, it's just us. So, No. Selfless service. Do I wanna? It's already 12:10. I like to wrap up. Okay. I'll hit this a little bit, and then I'll maybe touch it again next week at the beginning. But integrity often gets described in a lot of wishy-washy ways where it's not going to make a whole lot of sense. But integrity comes from, like, engineering and science terms, too, where integrity describes the ability of a thing to stay a thing under stress. The integrity... the structural integrity of a building is its ability to stay building shaped under stress. Your integrity is your ability to stay you shaped under stress, to keep being you. And boy, howdy, is that hard sometimes. You can I've done it. I did it this afternoon for like 3 seconds where the kids are up there stomping, and I usually have a great time with it. But a pattern hit or something, and I was like, right! And then they're like, I'm sorry, Jenny. And I'm like, it's okay, babies. Thank you very much. But then that's part of my integrity, my characters, that I do appreciate when people are kind. So I, recognize that, okay, yeah, I hollered at that part, but thank you for apologizing. That was sweet. That was not necessary. You stopped. That was the necessary part. The apology is just bonus on my end. So thank you, baby. But man, oh man, is it hard to stay you when the world is trying to change you with fire and pressure and wind and time, and your skin's dragging off your bones and your ass hurts for some reason and your knees are making noises you never heard before and your skin's coming off, and it's just aging. I'm looking at myself right now. I'm seeing the playback, and that's just me describing. I'm like, oh my god, I'm some color paler than pasty. Like, all this color is literally coming from my lights. You could signal airplanes. But okay. I'll wrap up integrity and I'll wrap up. Integrity is you being you under pressure, you being you under stress. Integrity also is, and I want to suggest it this way, rather than saying it is this or must, I'll say this is a suggestion on my end. If you want to develop a sense of integrity that you could maintain, be sincere, honest, and candid. Maintain who you are now. Maybe you got to tweak a thing. Maybe you do this, maybe you don't do that. But at your core, at most people's core, is goodness. And in a lot of cases, evil is like covering for a mistake, hiding a flaw, or just denying one's own goodness. And assume, like, so many people get told they're a piece of shit and just never look into it and just behave like a piece of shit. They get told they're worthless and never look into it and just assume they're worthless. Babies. Look into it. You're awesome. You can do so much cool shit. It's really wild. Again, leadership. Purpose, motivation, direction. Was one of those fingers push-ups? Was one of those fingers running? Was one of those fingers ties? Was one of those fingers gender conformity? Or nah, fuck no. Purpose, motivation, direction. You could be weird. You could be all kinds of shit. As long as you deliver those three on time as needed to the people who need it. So it's okay to be you. Being you is not getting in the way of you providing purpose, motivation, and direction. So you can lead. Just as you are now. The shape you are, the figure you are, who you want to be. Maybe you've been preventing yourself. You've been stopping. And you're like, oh, I was gonna... But I don't... Go for it. Go be crazy. If people around you aren't into it, don't hang out with them. They probably suck. I was kidding. But I might not be. That might be truer than you think. Integrity is the basis of your trusting character, you being you under stress. It is, or basis of trust and confidence. Sorry. Blah, 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 blah. That the people will develop in you. If you can maintain integrity, if you can be you under stress, then people will follow you in stressful situations. As long as they also kind of like working with you for the thing you're doing. But if you're going through hell and they know you can keep your shit together through hell, they'll be like, all right, let's see what the boss has in mind. You know, if you can be fun through hell, dude, you can run tours for there. I'm telling you. If you compromise your personal integrity, you break the bonds of trust between you, your troops, and your superiors. Yes. You're goddamn right. If you buckle in your integrity, your boss is going to be like, what the hell was that about? And your troops are too. Everyone who's looking at you for the results cannon is going to see where that thing landed and be like, that's way short, buddy. What the hell was that about? So there is the stress of that on top of the stress the world is giving you. So you do need to be mindful of, like, so your integrity, if we beat around the dead horse here, it sounds like I'm talking about stress management a lot too, is going to help you maintain your integrity in a lot of these situations. But I think the last point is one that gets overlooked a lot in leadership text, and especially in self-help kind of shit. Because clearly self-help books they don't want you to be yourself because they need you to buy more shit. Well, this course is free, babies. You can be yourself. You can be yourself. And I've seen you do it. Because I've seen so many like you do it. I've seen people with, you name it, on the disability, you name it on the disadvantage, you name it on anything. And people who I was confident in, I keep hitting that button 2-3 times at a time. People who even I was like arrogantly confident, like, they're not going to do it. And they did it. And I'm like, oh, shut my fucking mouth. People are fascinating. People are very capable. But I think I said before too that people are on pause until they become activated, until they become motivated in such a way that they see activation and self-development and getting out there and rah 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 is going to do them something. Then they're not gonna, because their body's not going to let them. Our human nature is not into that kind of shit. Be like water, as Bruce Lee said. But notice what water does most of the time. Yeah, it just kind of sits there. And our people will do that too. So we need to be like water, leading water. Alright, okay, I'm going to wrap it up. It's 12:18. I always like to shut it down about midnight-ish. So we got through, let's see, on my end. Okay, we talked about respect, we talked about confidence, we've talked about loyalty, duty, I said duty again, selfless service, and integrity. Broader ideas, not broader, that's more specific, I guess, because the broader ideas were the ones before, sorry. Weed. Legalize it, gang. But these are narrower concepts and ideas and terms that get used more specifically in leadership, or you hear them used a little bit more jargony in leadership. Like the word integrity does get used in other places, and it may not necessarily mean your ability to maintain your character under stress, but if you're talking to an engineer about the integrity of a thing, they'll probably know you're close. You know, there's difference in language as we go. So you'll see some of that as we get to word drops, as I'll take words that you're going to end up using or that are going to be useful for you to tuck into your vocabulary. And that's what the bulk of this course is. More than ideas you really need to sort of memorize. I'm really just kind of hoping to get a sense of the language out there for you. Like the concepts for sure, where I can and when I can. But ultimately, in that process, give you sort of like a big old basket of words to help you describe these things in your own way. Because clearly, repeating my shit back to someone is not going to nail it. good luck. I don't think you could read a transcript of my show to anyone and get any kind of good results. It would be crazy, in fact. But with all the ums and buts, come on, don't read that back. But this is all teachable stuff, and this is, once you kind of have, I'm hoping for you to sort of have epiphany moments where you're like, okay, and just a few of those, and watch back and go through. And again, the goal isn't that you're going to come out of this and just run the Avengers. But this is going to make you less afraid to think about doing that. This is going to make you more likely to put yourself in those positions to get out there and meet some Avengers and see what kind of teams you can put together. So, alright, gang. Hopefully I had the audio on. I've done that before, where I'll get to the end of a podcast. Just turn the sound on real quick. Oh, fuck! And then cuts. So hopefully the sound was on. Hopefully it wasn't echoing. That was the thing before, because the kids were fussing with the buttons and dials. Yeah, I'll see you next Sunday, gang. Yeah, I was going to try and not talk about something, so I'm not going to. Epictetus. Was it Epictetus who wrote the Enchiridion? The Manual? Yes. Epictetus wrote a book called The Manual. The Enchiridion is what he titled it, and it gets translated as The Manual. And he's got this bit in there where he says, I don't want to even try and directly translate it because it's clunky. But basically, you know, if the way he describes it is presenting your neighbor with a jug, and you know that back then these jugs had two handles, one on each side, and you know one of the handles is broken. So he says arguing, or if somebody comes at you with negative energy, that's like them handing you the broken pot handle and then you handing it back to them with the broken pot. Like, this is going to be a back and forth horseshit thing. Like, be the bigger person, turn it around. Hey, buddy, remember that they're still a person. Like, yes, we're all upset, we're all still angry. And what was the Enchiridion thing? Oh, yeah. There are ways to win everyone. And there are ways for everyone to genuinely win. Not win in some superficial way where meaningless goals get done. Not win in the sense of I win over you, but like true, honest victory. Like old school Appalachian victory. There is a way to win. And it's through love. Genuinely. You can get fussy, and I do, sure. I'll still fight motherfuckers. Doesn't mean I don't love them. It's a difficult kind of balance to get into. But you have to keep that at your core through all this. Because there will be struggles ahead. There will always be struggles ahead. Newsflash, it gets harder from here. But there's better ways. If somebody comes at you, I made the joke before, if you fight fire with fire, this is you making a bigger fire, dickhead. Quit putting fire on the stuff. No, you smother a fire. Suffocate a fire. Choke it. Deprive it of fuel. Remember the fire pyramid? Do you guys know the fire pyramid? There's fuel, heat, and oxygen. You need all three of them to get a fire going. So made it right over here. Got some heat and some oxygen. So you get rid of the oxygen, it don't matter how hot it is. It ain't gonna burn. Get rid of the heat, don't matter how much oxygen's in there. Get rid of the fuel, you just have hot air. That's the same thing we're up against. We just need to figure out what they burn on. Okay. Good night.